how Kamil made over $90,000 on his first wholesaling real estate deal, and how he used that to springboard him into wholesaling real estate success last year, and how he's crushing 2023, and how you can do the same thing. What is up, guys? Zach in here. Welcome to the Bags to Riches podcast. I'm here with Kamil, and he is going to share exactly how he got that huge first deal, the struggles he had to go through, and how he is pushing himself to have the best year ever. What is up?
What's up, Zach? How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm blessed, man. You know, a lot of people see you in the comments, they see you chatting, they see you getting advice from me. And, you know, I want to talk to the man behind. You might see the name and some of the questions you ask and really share, because you're a legit wholesaler and you've had some crazy growth in this year. And I feel like we can get a lot of great information from you. And really, I feel like your story can inspire so many people.
I hope so, man. That's the goal.
Awesome, man. So let's talk about your story, getting started in wholesaling real estate. Like, what's your journey from no deals to getting your first deal?
So honestly, I've been looking at wholesaling for about 2 years with like zero action. Everything's just been watching YouTube videos, working 110 hours a week, and whenever I was on lunch or whenever I had any time, I was just watching videos, studying, looking how these closers talk to people, and I took zero action. And a old partner of mine finally was like, "Listen, man, you just gotta get on the phone and do this." And I told him for about 5 months, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna start. Next month. We're gonna start next month." And then finally, he was like, "Listen, I'm paying to take you to an event. You have to go to this real estate event, and you don't have a choice." So he paid for the event. I paid for the airline ticket, and it was the best 3 days of my life. You got like this fire in you. You just automatically get like this action going. And I came home, and we started. The first thing we started on was Facebook ads. And we started Facebook ads, and within a week, I locked up this deal with this gentleman who had no knowledge of how to use a computer. He was 86
Hmm.
years old, and I got him on the phone, and I know I got him at a really low number, so I was like, I need to sign an agreement with you, and I live in Pennsylvania. This deal
Yeah.
was in Georgia, so he's like, "Listen, you're gonna have to show up at my door with a piece of paper." And so I got in my car, drove 10 hours, and got the contract signed the very next day.
Jeez.
So it's all about taking action.
Wow. And tell me about that deal. So was that the $90,000 plus deal?
Yes.
So let's get a little more detail on this. So,
So the Facebook ad came through, and the little questionnaire that it gives you, how much are you looking to get? So I hop on Zillow, and I'm doing the ARV, and I'm looking at the ARV. It's like 650,000. It was a mountain in the a cabin in the mountains, sorry, in this real rural area. And I asked him how much he wanted, and he was like, "I'm looking to get $380,000 for it." So automatically, I'm like, this has to be a great deal.
yeah.
And one thing led to another. I got in my car, drove, got the deal signed, and that was my first contract signed.
Wow. Okay. So what number did you get locked up for?
382,000.
Wow. And how much did you get it sold for?
For I have to look at the paper, but it was a $96,000 assignment.
Wow. I'm just gonna edit it out. All right. So if you got that big of an assignment fee, was it all double closings? Like, how did that end up going? Like, did the cash buyer freak out? Like, how did you smoothly get that over?
So actually, it was a real journey because he didn't let me put a lockbox. He didn't want
Oh
nobody.
no.
This was like a turnkey property, okay? Like they had all their furniture, so they were 80, like I said, 86 years old. They had their whole life in this house. Everything was so
Mm.
sentimental. They didn't want people walking through. So I mean, it was a journey. I've had many phone calls that he's gonna sue me because people were in the house, and I was like, I'm there. I promised him I would be present at every viewing, but it ended up being a double close only for the simple fact that I was scared of them seeing how much the house was actually going to get sold for. You
Hmm.
know, it was zero experience. Now it's kind of like that comes out up front. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. And how do you find that specific cash buyer?
It was, I had to partner up with a real estate agent that
Mm.
worked in that area, and they brought the cash buyer to us within 2 weeks.
And how much did that agent get paid on that deal?
That agent had a full 6% commission on that deal.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah,
6% off the assignment fee or 6% off of
six
the.
percent off the sale fee.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
geez, that's
that
a
was 30,000, 30 something $1,000.
that's a pretty penny, but not a lot of people talk about it. But if you get a real estate agent doing that, they will advocate to the buyer to buy it at this price.
Yeah,
So, all right, so we're looking at the price here. You paid the agent that much. How much? Did you have any other partners in this deal?
I did. It was me and a partner at that time, and we also had to split the profit 50-50 as well.
Okay.
So that big chunk just really got knocked down to a really well, I shouldn't say a small assignment fee because around $30,000 as a first assignment fee, I believe, is not that small. And you took on a big deal to start with, so not only did you gain the knowledge of working with a real estate agent, but you ended up making a nice chunk of chain as a first fee.
Yeah, I don't see any issue in that, right? I mean, obviously, you get a little better. You start, not having as many partners and doing it yourself. But for a first deal, I mean, that what my first deal out of the water easily. So, great job on that. And what was the date on that assignment? What was the
May
date?
20th of last year
Wow.
was
Okay.
when we closed.
So where are we at now? Like, how did your 2022 go after that first deal?
So me and my partner ended up splitting up, and because it was kind of like a one deal thing, and so then I was like, you know what, I can actually really do this myself. Let's forward back to April for a minute. uh I know we closed this on May 20th, but I knew this assignment was coming, and like I mentioned before, so I used to work like 100 hours a week just to make ends meet, and I saw the power of this, so I actually um told my boss that I was gonna quit in the month of June, and I actually ended up getting fired on the spot. So I actually had no choice but to really wholesale full time right then and there. There
Because
was
you
no
said it?
plan B. Yeah,
Wow.
there was no
Okay.
plan B. And so I took that money and I literally reinvested every single penny back into the company, building a carrot website, or building a website, um, getting all the phones, marketing, pulling lists, starting to send out mailers, and starting my own Facebook ads. And back then I was new, so I just dumped money everywhere and prayed that something would come right back.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And I mean, when was this second deal then?
My second deal was in June, actually, a
Wow.
month right behind that, and yeah.
What are the details of that? Where's the marketing, the assignment fee, all that stuff?
This was also a Facebook lead that came in. It was on a property in Philadelphia, and they actually, it was a Facebook lead that came in, and as I was on the phone with her, I get on Zillow so I can start doing the math, and it was listed on the market for $235,000 at that point in time. And I didn't get the deal on the first phone call. It took about three or four phone calls, but I renegotiated that deal to $113,000. I literally got it on the contract for 113,000 and sold it for 130 about a week later to these brand new flippers that just started in that area. And
Wow.
it was really a good deal. It wasn't really so much about the assignment fee for me on that deal, because they lived in a two-story home and her husband was disabled. So he was in a wheelchair and he's never seen the second floor of this property. And so they said, "Can you just help us, basically get out of this home and find a home where he can be mobile in?" And they ended up finding a property, like, I guess it was a manufactured home, but it was beautiful, and it was about moving quick on that one for us.
I mean, that's a big one there. And so you get that deal. And how do you start consistently getting more deals? Because I feel like so many people, they get that first deal, second deal, and then they start struggling.
So, one, I was still learning at that point in time, to be honest with you. But then I just, I did a lot of networking. Like I said, I joined the mastermind, and I got to network with a lot of people. And you get to ask, what kind of marketing are you doing? What seems to be working for you? Even though not everybody will always give you their honest answer, and it's the secret sauce. So it's like it's hard to give those answers out, but everybody was telling me majority of the answer I was receiving was direct mail, which is something I was asking you on your personal channel. And it seems like direct mail was the thing. So I pulled up a list of like 1,200 properties in my literal small little lower market, and I got 3 bites out of that direct mail. I got about 20 phone calls and 3 contracts.
Wow.
And it took me about 5 months to close one, 8 months to close the second one, and I'm still closing the third one as we
Jeez.
speak.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, man.
It truly is.
I mean, hey, I told everyone, like, like a lot of people talk, I do live cold calling. I do all these SMS. I do all, that's where I help most people at. But like I think you knows most of my deals are through direct mail.
Hmm.
And it's just because it's the most scalable part, right? And as someone that, I know you're doing it kind of by yourself to a point, you're obviously growing, but like direct mail, if you were doing it by yourself, it's going to be the best bang for your buck because it's a built-in cold caller, it's a built-in marketing person, right? It's so much easier and it's always worth the money. And that's a huge secret for consistently getting deals and getting the right one, doing it all the right way. But that's awesome, man. And
Yeah.
so when you start doing direct mail, 2 deals, you're kind of on the third one here. What do the rest of your 2022 look like? Because there's a lot of growing pains, right? And there's a lot of growth going on. But like, how did the rest of it pan out for the year?
Man, I had so many experiences with sellers. Like, I've made so many mistakes. And actually, another deal that I got was a referral from one of the properties in Philadelphia, and that referral turned into another referral, and I ended up closing about 3 properties in Philadelphia.
Wow.
um, but 2022 just taught me, make mistakes as fast as possible so you could learn from them as fast as possible. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was really doing from the beginning. It was all a guessing game for me. And honestly, if I didn't have an answer, I tried calling people, but believe me when I tell you, it's really hard to get somebody to help you. Everybody will be like, "Hey, call me if you need anything, call me if you need anything." But then when you actually call, it's like, "I don't have the time." So I literally found all my answers on YouTube. But
Yeah.
2022, I ended up closing 11 deals, and I JV'd on a lot of deals. And now we're in 2023, and I'm looking to double everything that I have done last year.
Well, tell me about the four on the podcast. We're kind of talking second week of January right now. Uh, what's going on with your first week? You told me you had a pretty good week, right?
So, so my goal for the month was to make 35,000 in assignment fees for the month of January. January 2nd, I got a property on the contract. January 5th, I assigned the property, and I'm making a $40,000 assignment fee. Plus, I also have 2 more properties on the contract, and we're moving forward, man.
Dude,
We're
that's
moving forward.
how you start it, man. Like that's how you get it. And as it's all about momentum, right? Like just
100%.
think of your first year at wholesaling. It didn't really, it's not even your first year because you're not even a full year if you look at getting your first deal, right? And starting it, right? And so you just think if you just think how scary it'd be, get a quarter, 25% better every year for the next 10 years. That's nasty stuff, right? Like you're gonna get, it's insane,
I'm excited.
dude. That's getting, you get 2% better every month. That's all you have to do, and it's pretty easy to do, right? And
Yep.
so if you just look at it like that, it's insane. You know, I remember my first year wholesaling. I'm like, in 4 years, if I can make 100K in a year, that's all I want. And like I think Bill Gates said that, or Steve Jobs. You overestimate what we can do in a short period of time, but you underestimate what we can do in the long term. And it's completely right. The next part here I want to talk about is those mistakes, right? You talked about them, but what were some, let's say, your top 3 mistakes that if you could redo, probably save you a lot of money and time for 2022?
Number one mistake is don't lie to the seller. Don't lie to the seller. Listen, we wholesale. Just be upfront with them. Listen, we're gonna need 2 or 3 GCs to walk the property. We're gonna need an appraisal. We do work with hard money and private money lenders. So, because if you tell them, listen, you're not gonna get no inspections or anything, you're basically telling them we don't need to come to your property. That's a big mistake I made with one of my sales. So I've learned to come back and say, listen, we're not going to do the regular traditional route. However, we do need to see what our repair costs are going to be like. We like to get 2 or 3 bids. That way we can see how close we are. We are going to do an appraisal, just for us and our hard money or private money lender. And when you're open with them, there's zero problems and you can walk through the property. If you can't sell a property walking 3 to 5 times, then it's probably not a good deal.
I mean, I always say it, it's like treat your seller like your grandma. You're never gonna lie to your grandma, right? And just be honest. Hey, we gotta walk 2 or 3 people, like you say always, and it always works, right?
Yep.
I just being upfront always works, and I think one big thing you kind of took is just, I hate to say it, but like because you got fired from your job, well, you kind of quit, but you got fired from it. Like you didn't have any backup plans. And I feel like a lot of people in your position, they'd be like, oh my gosh, there's too much competition. This is too much. There's too many obstacles in my way. And you came over it. Like, how did you get over that? Because a lot of beginners are like, I'm not good enough. I'm too young. I'm too inexperienced. People might not like the way I am, or I'm not confident. Like, how do you get over those things that you get in your head that just kind of stop you starting out?
So how blunt and honest can I be?
Completely.
That's just bullshit we tell ourselves. That's literal
I
bullshit
love it.
because you have zero self-confidence. And the reason you have zero self-confidence in yourself is because you make promises to yourself and you constantly keep breaking those promises. I'm going to
Mm.
lose 20 pounds in a month. You're making impossible goals and then you're not sticking to those goals. You fail at those goals, you lie to yourself, and you already have lack of self-confidence. It has nothing to do with looks or intelligence. It's if you're either going to stick to what you say you're going to do or you just don't.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I did see, I've seen your Facebook. I kind of researched your market, everything. I think one thing you didn't mention, which I think is a big motivating factor, is you have a son, right?
I do, yes.
How big of a motivation was that for you starting out in wholesaling?
So I raise, well, me and my wife, we raise our family very different. We're very business orientated and
Mm,
we think differently. And my son is homeschooled. So the way we teach us, I set an example for my son
mm,
from as much as I try to.
yeah.
We don't teach him that you need a 9 to 5 job to be successful. The word job honestly doesn't even exist in our household. He is already 7 years old. He's written 3 books of how he wants to be a business owner. He wants to own a car dealership because he doesn't want to pay taxes. He's very business orientated, but knowing that I cannot fail because I have him and my wife, that just makes you drive even more.
Yeah.
You know, Ed Milet said something about I'm not sure if anybody knows, but Ed Milet said something about telling your kids you can be whatever you want to be. And the kid saying back, so why aren't you, dad? And every time I wholesale every single day, that comment is in my head. I tell
Mm,
my son, you can do whatever you want to do. You can own whatever business you wanna own. And my fear is him telling me, Well, you're working a 9 to 5, Dad, so why aren't you what you want to be? And I promised myself I would never do that.
Dude, that's beautiful. I think a lot of people look at your drive and work ethic. They're like, oh, that's insane. And it's like, how does he have that, that fire burning inside of him? And I'm like, well, he's not mentioning it, but he has a
And
wife
I
and a
can
kid.
tell you, I can tell you, I used to work 110 hours a week for somebody else. I used to sleep at buildings, not come home for a week, just Friday to take a shower and go back to work. And if I can do that for somebody else, why would you not work those hours for yourself to build what you want to create?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm getting a little emotional. Like, I watched my son grow up the first 2 years on Facebook. I used to get pictures. I used to not be home. And
Mm.
I will never lose that time again. I don't care what I have to do. I
It's
won't lose that time.
it's the drive, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need that why, that reason why they're going to go past that point where most people quit. Did you ever have that point starting out in wholesaling that, I mean, you got success pretty newish, right? You didn't go through 4 months, no deal, but like, did you have any points that were like where you struggled a lot in wholesaling or you felt like you wanted to quit?
Oh, almost every other month. I used to, I mean, think about it. You spend $4,000 in postcards and you don't get a phone call, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Is this really for me? And let's not beat around the bush. $30,000 in marketing, if you did what I did and just dump money everywhere, but the bills are still coming in.
Yeah.
So money goes quick, bills are coming, you don't have money to pay your bills, and you're like, should I give up on my dream and go back to work? And then I go back to the words of Ed Milet. Are you gonna give up on your dream? Like, are you gonna sell your dream and go work a regular 9 to 5 and make success for somebody else? And the answer is absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely true. Everyone will be around your corner when you're successful saying, oh, I always supported you. And during your struggles, no one's ever there, right? Uh,
Yep.
it's a lonely game, but it's a game worth playing. And that's all I can say about wholesaling real estate. And you've clearly started out in the beginning, some struggles, but you're gaining momentum. And so, what are your goals looking like this year, right? I mean, you said you had $35,000 this month you're looking to get, and you're
hmm
looking in the future. How are you going to keep scaling these operations up for yourself?
So honestly, when you build really good relationships, which I can literally count my relationships on one hand, but you put yourself around people that are really committed to helping each other and holding each other accountable. And
Mhm.
all you got to do is network and talk, see what's working in their market, see what's working on the East Coast, see what's working on the West Coast, because those are two different total markets.
Yeah.
But I guess set yourself up the right way, see what's working. Don't dump a lot of money. But 2023, I have really good goals. I reached out to you, and you really do have some people that will give you tips and advice on how to keep moving forward.
I'll do it for anyone. I'm willing
Very
to.
little, very little people will, but there is a few that will.
Yeah, you always got to be careful out here with people mentioning things, and kind of like you've dealt with before, right? There's always somebody that can help you make money, but there's also another person out there that's going to screw you. For
Oh,
one
of
good
course.
person, there's always an equivalent bad person. Zero sum. You have to get very good at figuring it out. And kind of talking about you with JV deals, some deals get sent to you, they're terrible, and some are going to be really good. You got to figure out how to get the right ones. And I think you're figuring that out pretty quick. So, and of those 11 deals you did last year, how many were direct mail? How many were Facebook ads? And how many were other channels we haven't talked about yet?
So driving for dollars got me a deal.
Okay.
Actually, driving for dollars got me a probate deal. Direct mail was 3 deals, and then 8 deals were Facebook ads that were a really long, struggly. Facebook ads are very time consuming and difficult.
Yeah. And they're only getting harder sometimes.
Yep. So
So for this year, are you looking to get more into Facebook ads or are you looking to get more into other type of marketing channels?
honestly, so I did start cold calling about 6 weeks ago, which is I've had them for about 35 days now. Now I pull all the lists and I give them all the material. In the last 35 days, I literally looked this up. I think I got 149 leads of people that raised their I guess answered and said, "Yes, I'm looking to sell my house."
Mm,
So I'm looking to see what to do with cold callers. I'm definitely going back to direct mail because my direct mail went in April and July, and I still have people calling me from my April direct mail.
Oh yeah.
So direct mail is definitely 100% coming back. I'm gonna see what the cold callers do, but I'm gonna try to do what you recommended, which is the three-touch phase: 1 month cold call, and then direct
Yeah.
mail, etc.
Yeah, just the one we do, right? And if anyone's seeing what I do, like it's so crazy guru system. It's we have a list, we'll cold call it month one, then we'll text that list, and then we'll direct mail it, and then again we'll repeat it every quarter, every single year, and it works really well for us. Now we do on a very large scale, and then we kind of use that scale for the virtual markets and kind of niche it out for what works there, but it works really well. But Kamil, it's going very well for you. I mean, kind of piggyback back. What were some of the biggest mistakes you made that you think that somebody listening, if you could help them fix that mistake, you would probably want them to do ASAP?
Another mistake that I made that I will learn is if you are assigning a property with a tenant inside of it, make sure you ask the seller what's going on with the security deposit so you don't have
Mm,
to pay it out of pocket. Make sure it's transferable or make sure they give the money back. Um, that was one of the biggest ones because the security deposit that I dealt with was about 2 grand. So that was 2,000 off of my assignment fee that I lost. Third mistake, uh, don't think that you just made an assignment that you can stop taking action.
mm,
I'm guilty of that one. There was an assignment fee that I made, and you think that you can just sit back in your chair and it's good to celebrate. Everybody deserves a celebration. Take the rest of the day off, go spend time with the family, whatever. But the next day, get back to business as you never even made the assignment because I stood back for too long and the money runs out. Like I'm saying, depending on how much you're spending on marketing, you can really blow through the finances fairly quickly.
yeah, yeah. It's nuts, man. So, dude, you have an amazing story. I think you're just going to be destroying 2023 and probably come back next year giving more advice from me, right? And hopefully
Sure.
see you more in the live streams and reach out to you. But you're doing some JV deals. You're doing very well on it, and that's kind of another thing I want to talk about before we head off. But like, if somebody has a deal and they want to send it to you, you're vetted, you're good. What areas do you look into JV with people?
I feel very comfortable with the buyers that I have in Philadelphia
Mhm.
and the Poconos of Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania would be Poconos, um, the whole east side basically, Harrisburg, Poconos, Philadelphia, and then I also do deals in Georgia. So 60-mile, 70-mile radius of around Atlanta, Gwinnett County, all those counties. They can reach out to me and I can probably help them push the deals as long as it's a decent deal.
Awesome. And if someone want to reach out to you to send you some deals, how would they reach out?
The best way to reach out to me would be on my Instagram. That's the quickest way that I would.
What's your handle?
That's where I network. It's official Camille underscore MURAWSKI underscore FABL.
So right here, guys, below is the IG. If you can go hit them up and send some deals. One last thing for Camille before I head you off here. If you were to start all over again and you were trying to get your first deal, but we only gave you $300, what is your goal to success this year right now to get your first wholesaling deal of somebody who's in your market in Pennsylvania?
First and foremost, I would go to Zach's freewholesaling.com. Guys, you have all your answers there. You don't have to pay any gurus. I spent about $45,000 in self education last year, and I can almost 95% of it. I can almost promise you that I didn't learn anything new. That the only good money that I spent was on a sales process. But freewholesaling.com. Me personally, I would just pull a list from PropStream and start cold calling, and maybe send out $200. I would $100 for skip tracing and $200 in direct mail, and I would still cold call that whole list myself.
Yeah, that's it. So Camille, thank you so much for hopping on. Make sure you hit him up on Instagram, send him some deals, and let him know what's up. So Camille, thank you so much. Do you have any parting thoughts for the audience before we head off?
Yeah, make 2023 the best one ever. Don't hesitate. Hit the phone. Don't be afraid. It's just a phone call. They can't see you. You'll never meet them. Take the chance. You never know what will happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much.